Guys, it is a beautiful day. I don't care where you are, whether you're in Europe staying up late or early, whether you're in Europe. I don't care what time it is for you in Europe. It's going to be a beautiful day coming up, as is the case. That certainly interrupts the flow of talking about how beautiful things are. It's like, things are going to be beautiful. They just like projectile vomit right into my clean laundry basket, because if you are a 25-year-old male, you have a pile of your dirty clothes, and you wait until your clean laundry basket is empty, and you put the dirty clothes on that and take it to the laundry, and then you have a full hamper of clean clothes, and do you put it away? No, you set it down. And you say, great, that's my clean laundry hamper, right? Right? That's how it works. What are we talking about? IdrA versus HuK. This is part 2 of Day 9 Daily number 376, where you learn to be a better gamer. In this game, we are seeing HuK and IdrA do some pretty typical early expands, and with some build orders that have basic reasoning to them in terms of, we're early expanding as HuK. We're getting a fast +1. We're going to talk about that attack. IdrA taking 3 expansions really quickly. He's getting roaches up. Going to prepare for that attack. Very, very typical, average, everyday stuff. But the big theme of this daily is starvation. When do we hit a time where we don't really want to attack our opponent anymore? Let's hop in and take a look at the big, broad plans that these two strategies imply. Now, interestingly, I have a lot of experience with this build order that we're going to be seeing out of that we're going to end up seeing out of HuK. I love this build. You're going to get a lot of gateways up, but I want you to note that HuK is not actually going to cut a lot of a lot of probe timing. He's going to be getting his 2 assimilators around the time he's moving out, and normally 6 gateways you'd think of as a huge investment, but not if you're going pure Zealot Sentry. And in particular, the +1 attack upgrade on the Forge means that Zealots kill Zerglings in 2 hits instead of 3. In other words, Zealots go through Zerglings like butter, yet even more than they ordinarily do. So I love this attack timing so much, one of my absolute favorites. The big goal of this is to get up a 3rd base. So IdrA, with his usual unbelievably good attack timing, or his usual unbelievably good everything timing, is getting up this very fast roach warren. He built a handful of roaches. You might think to yourself, well, what the hell? I thought he was going into crazy powering mode. That's what IdrA normally does. I want you to note that in the unit counting station, we have but 6 roaches and no Zergling speed yet. Remember, the entire theme of IdrA's build is valuing getting more larvae over everything else. We have 3 queens, and yet we only have 2 creep tumors. Only 2 active creep tumors. That is it. We got 6 roaches out because, quite honestly, we need to. What the hell else do we have to defend? We don't have Zerglings to, say, push back probes that throw down these pylons. We don't have any of that garbage. The main goal of IdrA is going to be to get up a lot of units and to start messing with HuK while HuK is trying to get up his 3rd base. HuK's main broad overarching goal is to do this push to get himself up 3 bases safely. And look at that. Probe production continuing onward like nothing. Only Zealots and Sentries, only the cheap jazz. What does IdrA do? Well, he made as many drones as he could. I mean, he made up to 57, a nice swell of drones. However, just building roaches and lings as normal. And in fact, let me actually show how not special this timing is. Or excuse me, how not special this response is. It's very easy to just like, oh, well, IdrA must know something. Well, what IdrA knows is how to get a lot of drones and knows all this timing, but watch what happens in the production tab. Yep, we see the probe move up. There's going to be nothing too much to overthink. Yeah, look. We see a whole bunch of units coming. IdrA started making a little bit of units beforehand, but mainly he was making drones. And he even saw some stuff earlier on, so maybe he suspected something. And now, just look at the production. It's just going to be, look, more lings, more roaches, more lings, more roaches. Don't overthink it too much. IdrA was making a whole lot of drones, and now that an attack's coming, he's not making a whole lot of drones. There you go. Boom! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you genius defense logic. Some of the best pro builds, once you have the timing of your drones down, the intuitive, obvious choices are what you do. Derp, you see units, make roaches. Derp, you see no units, don't make roaches. Easy peasy for breezy. And of course, IdrA has this one Overlord here positioned because the big overarching goal is that we would really be delighted to be able to mess with our opponent's third base. Yeah! Now, again, I want you to notice this theme in IdrA's play. We talked a lot about this beforehand, about, yeah, sometimes we even see IdrA take 4 hatches before he takes his metabolic boost. Honestly, we didn't see him do that. And one might think, oh, well, he's doing something different. But no, the theme is still here. Other than getting this Roach Warren and getting this +1 upgrade, what has he done? Well, we see no layer yet. We see no extra evolution chamber for upgrades. We don't see, hell, anything else. He's just continuing to get these macro hatches up. The Overlord sees that there is a Robo going down here. An obvious counterattack timing by IdrA. Notice also from HuK's end. HuK is getting a lot of Zealot Sentry, but he doesn't commit to it, and he just happily repositions himself to begin making a lot of Stalkers. So IdrA, with his small attack force, has this clear target. Oh, a third's being built? Here's where I think one of the best choices of the game occurs. He immediately throws down a hatch at the gold. Well, if you're going to be caught up defending yourself with this third base, I'm just going to take a fourth and I'll get my layer up. This layer is something that is like a long overdue thing. You just kind of generally want to get your layer up as fast as you can. IdrA elects to delay that to get his drone count higher and higher and higher. So this is just kind of a when you can afford it thing. But this is a result of getting so ridiculously many drones early. And this is a response of seeing our opponent get this extra base up early. If I didn't see this and I'm in IdrA's position, I'd be leery of plopping down this hatchery. My opponent should have a lot more units coming up really soon. Maybe Blink would be nearing completion at that point, and I wouldn't want to be so overextended. Some fun time exchanges occur. We have all these roaches that, you know, we're going to have to run away. This army's way stronger than that army, especially with that force field count. Like, way, way, way stronger. And in all that while, IdrA was just going max out, balls to the wall, droning it up. And as a general good rule of thumb, don't go extractor crazy until your layer is underway. IdrA was making as many roaches as he could, getting the upgrade, with 3 fully injected hatches going mainly roaches. And still did not really have that much gas being mined. Do not get too many extractors too early. I guarantee it will sort of end up backfiring on you. Now, HuK's plan is, I think, a very clear, easy-to-state plan that's really solid. His plan is the following. I'm going to do something. In this case, something is Zealot Sentry Push, but let's not even call it Zealot Sentry Push. Let's call it something. I'm going to do something to let me get up a fast third, and then I'm just going to build big-ass armies to attack with. When I have a big-ass army move out, I'll take a fourth. Simple as that. Get up 3 bases for big-ass armies, defend my 4th base with my big-ass army. Yes! You now understand Protoss vs. Zerg on Antigua Shipyard. Hoo! Huh! Cool. Simple, clean statement. We can put in some detail. That's something that lets us get up the third is a Zealot Sentry Push. What is your big-ass army? Well, it's going to mainly be Colossus-focused. You can add these little details, but never forget the big picture statement. We want to get 3 bases up to get big armies, so we can get 4th bases up. Ha! Done. Done. Zerg's end is going to be slightly more complicated to state, but not by much. We're going to do what we can to keep him back on 2 bases. When he takes his 3rd base, I'm going to take a 4th base. And I'm going to be trying to starve him. Now, I want you just to stop and think for a moment about that. Think about these 2 statements that we just made. Okay. Protoss needs a big army to take his 4th base. Protoss needs a big army to take his 4th base. Otherwise, he cannot defend a 4th base. On some maps, taking a 4th base is easy. Your 4th base is tucked away with a thin, eensy-teensy little ramp. It is easy as pie to take a 4th base. Name for me a map that it is very easy to take a 4th base on. Think about a map where it's easy to take a 4th. Shattered Temple. Very easy to take a 4th base. I think that's probably the easiest map that I can think of to take a 4th base in the entire map pool. Your gold is basically at your front door, and it is tucked back. Sure, there's a wide open entrance there, but you can always force some very good angles, especially when you have your backdoor third. Relatively easy to do. On this map, your 4th is quite open. Let's actually take a look at the 4th base. Look at that, it has an overlooking high ground. This side, it's all very, very wide out and spread open. Okay, cool. He needs a big army to take his 4th base. So what do you do as Zerg? What's a good thing to be doing as Zerg? Well, what we're going to see IdrA do is try to keep HuK's army very small and to stay back and to not let HuK move out and take that 4th base. And on IdrA's side, he is happy to get up a gigantic-ass army that can defeat HuK in a straight-up battle, but often in the mid-game, this is where you see Zergs mess this up. You see Zergs just patiently wait. Now, IdrA's going to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to overthink. He's getting Roach Speed, because you know what? That's just what you do. It's really good. He's going to be getting a burrow upgrade from one of these hatches. Where is it? It's this one. Yeah, he's getting the burrow upgrade. Why? Well, we have a lot of roaches up. And roaches are very, very good at holding off these sorts of big attacks when you have burrow. Forces your opponent to have some observers. And, of course, +2 attack. Why are we doing that? Don't overthink it. We have a lot of roaches, and roaches are good with upgrades, right? Obvious upgrade, obvious upgrade, obvious upgrade. These 3 things just frickin' help out. But what we're going to see IdrA do is a series of counterattacks. But I don't want you to think of this as your average, like, Mutalisk harassment where you're just trying to poke in, do some damage, and that sort of stuff. All these think of as pinning our opponent back on 3 bases. We don't want him to get more than 3 bases. Here come the Zergling attacks. IdrA likely could have pulled back and maybe set up a good defense with these Zerglings. But no, here comes the first big, solid set of decisions by IdrA that I just love. Old IdrA would not have done this. Old IdrA, I think, would have made the consistent mistake to engage only in straight-up fashions. But now, we're forcing our opponent to be pulled back a little bit. Our 4th hatch ends up taking some damage. I still think that this was a brilliant decision to have done. I think this was very, very, very smart by IdrA to have taken this. But notice this uncomfortable situation on paper. On paper, this looks very uncomfortable for IdrA. It's like, oh my god, he's making only roaches. And now Protoss is soon going to have this huge-ass Colossus force up. But as long as IdrA can keep his opponent pinned back on 3 bases, he's going to be in good shape. IdrA's waiting for an obvious upgrade, speed, and burrow. He's just waiting. He's being patient. Oh no. We got to pull back. Speed is really the big one that allows you to kick into high gear. Oh no. Very often people would, again, think, yeah, you're dead as IdrA at this point in time. Again, obvious stuff. Getting the Infestation Pit, retaking the 4th base. Good stuff. Good, good, good stuff. But okay, now IdrA has speed for his roaches. And he has burrow. And he almost has +2. I love the way that IdrA's going to kick into high gear in this phase. On HuK's side, clean, easy decision-making. We're trying to get a death army. Why? To take our 4th. Very straightforward. We're going to get Immortals for our death army, Blink for our death army. We're going to get a +2 upgrade because that will help every piece of our death army. Nothing too complex here. Nothing that complex. IdrA waits for all the roaches that he was building to finally pop up. Come on, IdrA, get ready to go. Get ready to go. Here we are. He's moving on out. And this little tactic where he splits up his roaches like this, he's going to engage one up on this high set and one up on this left set. He's being aggressive and trying to push HuK back. He's trying to keep this army size down, prevent it from really getting into high gear. And what is the good decision to do here? This is the decision. Old IdrA, I guarantee, would have done one of two things. Engage, and everything will die. I can tell you right now, everything will die if IdrA engages directly. There's just too many sentries with too much energy. Or IdrA would have pulled back, regrouped, and maybe swung in for a second punch. Ooh, that's a nice little treat. Getting that one. And then, where do we go? Ooh, well, we're starting to lose this battle quite badly, and he just waltzes right up into the main. What an unbelievably kick-ass decision. This is so great. He's pushing his opponent back. He's delaying his opponent. These are going to die. These are going to die. Guaranteed. 100%. No chance of these units ever getting out anywhere. No safe escape at all for any of these poor, sad little units. But that's fine, because IdrA has a 4th base. IdrA's trying to keep a 4th base and prevent HuK from getting a 4th base. This is in line with this Starvation play. It might not seem as clear right now, but the way that a lot of people will describe this as, I wanted to force trades. I wanted to force a lot of trades. IdrA is making cheap units, Lings and Roaches, to allow him to continue to keep the aggression up. Why can IdrA do this? Because at the start of the game he did all that amazing brilliance where he had only focus on droning up. No distractions, even something like getting Zergling speed he did not let distract him. Yeah, well, he got his hive at a normal time. There's a spire here somewhere. Yeah, he's eventually going to get those broodlords up. But again, we see the same delightfully brilliant decision-making. HuK's decision-making is good, but it's very clear. If you want to play like HuK and just go for a big-ass army, you can literally steal him straight up, and you're going to be in good shape. Yeah, getting more gateways is necessary. Getting big +3 upgrades, getting big scary colossi. Easy peasy, Fabrizi, Parcheesi. HuK's going to continue to be aggressive. And I think old school IdrA would have elected not to attack anymore, only to build a giant wall of spine crawlers to buy time for this greater spire. But look at these Zerglings positioned to counterattack to push the opponent back. All these Roaches positioned here in center, ready to deal with a huge attack. Alright, here comes the attack. Old school IdrA would have only done a direct engagement right now. Yeah, there are the Roaches there doing the dance, but look at this counterattacking IdrA. Oh, yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. That's so good. Yep, IdrA is in a bind, not looking so good. Again, envision old IdrA. IdrA would have engaged directly, lost this fight quite badly, and then what would have happened? IdrA would have slowly lost this, and slowly lost the game because his greater spire is very close to finishing. But it looks like IdrA doing a ton of damage here. IdrA can easily even pick off these zealots. The main is now really vulnerable. And this big attack no longer can really be reinforced. Also, IdrA pulled every single drone off here. I don't know. This is going to sound dumb, but I don't know why this is hard to do. But every time an expansion's being attacked, it's really easy to just sort of let the drones die while you're focusing on your army. Take the extra half second to grab all your drones and send them to safety. It takes half a second. I don't know why that's hard to do, but for some reason it just always feels like something else is of more importance. And suddenly HuK's force, that was oh so ready to be reinforced by these zealots, is kind of forced to retreat. It's all keeping our opponent pinned back on 3 bases. And now it's the Starvation moment because we have our fancy schmancy broodlords coming up. We're going to talk all about the actual act of starving your opponent itself. Coming up in part number 3. Oh, yes! I'm in a great mood because you know what? It's going to be a beautiful day, you guys. See you for part 3 right after this.